Captain Sarah Rodriguez felt the familiar ache in her bones as the Harmony's Dream docked at Nexus Station. Another month of hauling cargo through the galaxy's most dangerous shipping lanes. Another month of watching her crew get passed over for promotions, denied fair contracts, and treated like expendable muscle by species who wouldn't last 5 minutes on their homeworld. Earth was classified as a Class XII Deathworld, a planet so hostile that the Galactic Trade Consortium had initially refused to believe anything could evolve there, let alone achieve spaceflight. When humanity finally made contact, the galaxy's reaction had been a mixture of horror and fascination. Humans could survive radiation levels that would cook most species, endure gravitational forces that would crush delicate alien bones, and function in atmospheric compositions that were toxic to 80% of known life forms. But rather than fear humanity, the galaxy had found a use for them. "Captain, incoming priority message from Consortium headquarters," announced Chen Wei, her navigation officer. His voice carried the same weary resignation that had infected the entire crew over the past months. Sarah pulled up the message on her personal display, already knowing what it would contain. Another emergency cargo run through the Veil Nebula, where cosmic radiation would slowly cook any non-human crew. Another contract, paying barely enough to cover fuel costs. Another polite request for the resilient human specialists to risk their lives so that more civilized species could profit. "Let me guess," said Dr. Elena Vasquez, the ship's physician, not looking up from her medical scanner. "The Zenthari Mining Consortium needs someone to deliver equipment to their operation in the Gamma Crucis system, through the Ion Storm Belt, at standard hazard rates." Sarah's laugh was bitter. "Close. It's actually a rescue mission." Apparently, a Luxari diplomatic vessel suffered engine failure in the broken glass asteroid field. Standard pay, extreme hazard classification. Her crew exchanged glances. The Luxari were among the most vocal critics of human barbarism in the Galactic Senate. They had spent the last decade blocking every human petition for equal representation, claiming that Deathworlders lacked the refined sensibilities necessary for civilized governance. "Ma'am," Chen said quietly, "the Serenity's light is docked 3 berths over. Captain Morrison told me yesterday that they just completed their 4th suicide mission this month. The hegemony is working human crews to death while paying them subsistence wages." Dr. Vasquez finally looked up, her dark eyes flashing with anger. "I've been analyzing the medical data from other human ships. We're dying at 3 times the rate of any other species in space. Not from combat, from exposure to hazards that other species won't even attempt to navigate." Sarah stared at the rescue request, feeling something crystallize in her chest. For 20 years, humanity had played by the galaxy's rules. They had accepted the dangerous missions, the low pay, the casual discrimination, all while being told they should be grateful for the opportunity to contribute to galactic civilization. She opened a ship-wide communication channel. "All hands, this is the captain. Report to the main cargo bay in 5 minutes. We need to have a discussion about our future." 20 minutes later, Sarah stood before her crew of 37 humans, engineers, pilots, medics, and marines who had spent years risking their lives for people who viewed them as expendable tools. "I've just received another mission request," she began, holding up the data pad. "The Luxari want us to risk our lives saving their diplomats from a situation they created through their own carelessness. They're offering standard rates for what they classify as extreme hazard work." Murmurs of discontent rippled through the gathering. "I think it's time we stopped being so accommodating," Sarah continued. "Computer, open a channel to all human vessels currently docked at Nexus Station." The holographic display expanded, showing the faces of 8 other human captains. Morrison from the Serenity's light looked particularly haggard, his environmental suit still showing scorch marks from his latest mission. "Ladies and gentlemen, Sarah announced, "I propose we collectively decline this mission." And the next one. And the one after that. It's time the galaxy learned what happens when they push Deathworlders too far. Captain Morrison leaned forward. "What are you suggesting, Rodriguez?" "I'm suggesting we form the Human Independent Shipping Guild. We set our own rates, choose our own missions, and remind the galaxy exactly why they need us." The response was immediate and unanimous. For too long, human crews had been scattered across the galaxy, competing against each other for scraps, while alien corporations grew fat from their sacrifices. Within 6 hours, every human vessel in Nexus Station had signed the charter. Within 12 hours, the news had spread through the local Ansible network. By the end of the week, human ships across 3 galactic arms had joined the guild. The galaxy's reaction was swift and predictable. Trade consortium representatives arrived at Earth's embassy, demanding that humanity honor its existing contracts. They were politely informed that all previous agreements had been made under terms of economic duress and were therefore void. The Luxury diplomats, still stranded in the broken glass field, increased their distress beacon's power. No human ship responded. When the Zenthari Mining Consortium's facility in the Gamma Crucis system went offline due to equipment failure, they discovered that not a single human crew was willing to risk the ion storms for their previous rates. The breaking point came when the Hegemony's flagship, the Infinite Majesty, suffered a cascade failure in their environmental systems while traversing the Maelstrom Nebula. The elegant vessel, designed for the comfort of delicate aristocrats, became a death trap when its life support began leaking toxic coolant. The Guild's response was swift and professional. They would absolutely rescue the Hegemony leadership for 10 times their standard rates, payable in advance, with full hazard bonuses for their crews. The Hegemony Admiral's outrage was magnificent to behold. "This is extortion, blackmail. The human species will be banned from all civilized systems." Captain Rodriguez smiled as she responded to the transmission. "Admiral, with respect, you're welcome to rescue your own people. I'm sure your environmental suits are rated for the radiation levels in the Maelstrom." The payment cleared within the hour. As Sarah watched her crew prepare for what would be their first fairly compensated mission in years, she reflected on how quickly the galaxy's attitude had shifted. No more condescending requests for the brave human specialists. No more assumptions that Deathworlders should be grateful for any opportunity to serve. The galaxy had forgotten a simple truth: dangerous people are only safe to be around as long as they choose to be. Humanity had simply chosen to stop being quite so nice.